Have you ever experienced where you've done something that you never imagined you could possibly ever do? Just beyond your comprehension as to how it was happening, and you're doing a certain thing in life. Pretty awesome, huh? Well, I'm a part of a little Kingsmen group, and we meet on Tuesday nights and we say a rosary, and then after the rosary we'll watch a video, crossing a goal or something, or sometimes we just chit-chat one another about how God's working in our life. We've been doing this for about a year, it's maybe 2 years, I don't know, it's been a while, but one night we get to talking about how we could better support our parish and community, and what could we do as men to help support the parish, And one of the guys recommended maybe we could serve as altar service at weekday mass. We take turns and rotate. So we all agreed we'd do it, and Father Andrew approved it. And next thing you know, we're saying we're altar serving on Monday night and Thursday nights. And I guess this went on for about a year. And on Thursday nights we have adoration every night, which is just, I can't explain how powerful that is. To be at right in front of the Blessed Sacrament, and serving the altar, just took everything I had some nights to keep tears from rolling down my face. I used to tell Father about it and how powerful it was. Well, after a while went by, one night Father Andrew asked me, he says, you ever thought about discerning a diaconate? And I said, well, first you got to tell me what it is. I'm not familiar with what the diaconate is, And he says, well, it's to be a deacon in the church. And I'm like, when he told me that, I just kind of laughed at him. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Not Wheeler, I'm not a deacon by no means. I said, where would you even get that thought from, And he says, I think, you in your faith life and in your spiritual life, I think you're at a good place. Maybe you ought to discern being the deacon. So I took it with a grain of salt, but I told him, I said, look, okay, I'll pray with it, but I'm not making any promises or commitments to that, So went home, told my wife about it, and we just kind of totally puzzled as to where this is coming from and what his thought process is with this whole thing, So I decided I would pray with it at adoration each week. So sure enough, I go to adoration the first week, and I sit there in front of the Blessed Sacrament, and I just, I look up there and I say, God, I said, do you want me to be a deacon? Just straight out said it and asked him. And before I could finish asking the question, I get an answer that says, yeah, I want you to be a deacon, And right away, my wheels just start spinning, and I'm thinking, okay, this is just Wheeler's, this is my mind playing games with me. I said, no way God's talking to me, not this quick, So I did this for about 5 or 6 weeks, and I'd go home and talk to my wife about it, and it's just, I'm like, man, so here I am trying to find out, what does a deacon do, what it's all about, and, how long it takes, and this and that, and I'm really wondering, is this God really talking to me? I'm just kind of in awe at all of this going on, I can't explain it. So I finally decided, I said, I'm going to go one more time. I'm going to go ask one more time, and then if I get the same answer, I guess I'm going to go tell Father Andrew, I'll go ahead and discern, So I go there, and I sit there, and sure enough, I ask my question. God, you want me to be a deacon? And I got a different answer this time. This time, the Lord says, how many times am I going to have to tell you, And it's the same thing. Before I can finish asking the question, I get the answer, This thought just pops in there. So this time, I just kind of shrunk in my pew right there, and, and it's like God just whacked me in the head with a 2x4, It's just like, what it's going to take for you to listen to me, And I was like, because I kept pushing back, I think, a little bit, and I don't know, it just one thing led to another. So anyway, I signed up for discernment. So this is a 1-year discernment to be a deacon with a 5-year program. And, when you go there, the first thing they do is they give you the good, the bad, and the ugly, right off the bat. If you become a deacon and your wife dies, you can't get remarried. You're going to be taking a 3-hour class on Saturday morning, a 3-hour class on Monday night. You're going to be taking theology at a university level. It's just one thing after the other, and I'm thinking, there's no way, this is not me. By no means am I going to be able to give up my weekends. I'm a man who loves to fish and hunt. I like football on the weekends, Tiger ball, Saints ball. You know, I love going to my camp on the weekends. My wife and I, you know, is a dream to be retired, you know, and go to camp every weekend. So I'm thinking there's no way this is going to work for me. This is just not something that's going to fit my lifestyle. So I don't know, for some reason, I go through discernment and I get accepted into formation, and I go through that first semester, second semester, and I mean, it's tough. You know, that first semester, I think I'm done. It's all over, you know. I mean, you know, philosophy and spirituality and Christology, and just they're pouring all of this stuff into your brain, you know, and it's kind of overwhelming the amount of material you're taking in each semester. And, you know, I'm like, how in the world do I continue to do this? Where is this coming from? I can't explain it. You know, I keep coming back, you know. Here it is every Saturday morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm on my way into Baton Rouge, and all the boats are heading for Bell River, you know, and I'm like, it just kind of punches you in the heart but I continue to go back, and I never could put it together as to why I keep continuing to do it, you know. Don't get me wrong, a couple times I came close, but I kept going back. So this past semester in my moral theology class, the light kind of went off for me, you know, and my professor, we get to this week classes on grace. And, you know, after him explaining grace and how it works in our lives and everything, and I was like, you know, bingo, man. It just, you know, I can understand truly how I am able to continue to go on this journey on something I never dreamed was possible. You know, I just couldn't imagine me giving up. You know, I didn't even get a hunting license last year. You know, it's mind-boggling. You know, so with that said, you know, don't ever underestimate what grace can do for you. You know, and how God can work in. You know, I understand that it was through my intimate relationship with Christ that opened me up to let God's grace really just work in me and allow it to happen without me really even seeing it, you know, because you never would dream you could do something like that. I just couldn't imagine it. So with that said, it's a 5-year program. I'm in my 3rd year. I think I'll maybe get back to y'all for this 2nd episode in about 2 years and let y'all know how God's grace is working in my life. You know, maybe, you never know. Maybe God just wanted to see if I was going to say yes. You know, I'm not sure, but I hope to get back to you with the 2nd episode in about 2 years.